Hey, what's up, you guys? Today I'm going to be talking about Robin, and I'm going to be discussing with you whether you should or shouldn't pull for her. As a disclaimer, just remember that this is just my opinion. Anything in terms of Robin is left to your discretion if you would like to pull for her, if she's the unit that you want. Of course, pull for her. If you don't want to pull for her, don't pull for her. This is just giving people advice based on whether they should or shouldn't pull for her in terms of where their account is at in the current state of the game. For those of you who are free to play, keep in mind she is a support, so if you already have a Sparkle, Tingyun, Bronya, she might be someone who you can skip. But in terms of skills, her first one, Pinion's Aria, it does increase damage dealt by all allies by 25%, lasting for 3 turns, and the duration decreases by 1 at the start of Robin's turn. For Robin, there was a common misconception that she was only going to be benefiting teams that were follow-up or teams such as Boot Hill who were physical, but that's not actually the case. She does benefit any sort of team as a support, but one thing, like I said, to keep in mind is if you already have supports, she might not be a unit that you need to pull. Now for her ultimate, Vox Harmonique Opus Cosmique, I don't know if I pronounced that right, I hope I did. Robin enters the Concerto state, increasing all allies' attack by 15.2%, plus 50 of Robin's attack, causing all allies except Robin to immediately take action. This in itself is really good. If you don't have units like Bronya, she immediately gives all of your units action. So a unit like this coming out, if you are free to play and you don't have a Bronya, you don't have a Sparkle, she might actually be a good unit to pull for. Now, if you do have those units and they're already invested in, this might not really be something that you need. It is great because it's party wide and that's not all her ultimate does, so we'll continue it. After every attack by allies, Robin deals additional physical damage equal to 72% of her attack one time. The critical rate for this damage is set at 100% and crit damage is set at 150. Now, when in the Concerto state, Robin is immune to crowd control debuffs and cannot take turn or action before the Concerto state ends. A Concerto countdown appears on the action order bar. So what this will basically do is it will move Robin off of the load order of the action bar, and instead it will be replaced by the Concerto. I wish I had access to the test server to show you guys, but I do not have access. But there are videos out there that do demonstrate this in effect. Now, in terms of her kit continuing, when the countdown's turn begins, Robin exits the Concerto state and immediately takes action. So she'll basically, once it ends, immediately take action because her actions were delayed. Now, the countdown has its own fixed speed of 90, meaning it won't move often, which is actually good because that means your buff will have much more uptime. The 90 speed is a good thing because it takes away the need to speed tune Robin as much because when she's in her Concerto state, it will be overridden. Her crit rate and crit damage is also overridden and set to 100 and 150 during this, so you don't really need to have it built up. You can focus on building her attack up instead. Now this is good because it makes her investment a lot better. You just have to focus on building up her attack to keep buffing your allies. For Robin's talent, its tonal resonance. This increases all allies' crit damage by 27.5%. It also, after allies attack enemy targets, Robin will additionally regenerate 2 energy for herself. This will help her with her sustain and buffing her team's damage potential. Now this is a really good talent to have on Robin because her ultimate does have a high energy cost, so it does help her to have more uptime on her ult when her allies are giving her more energy back. Now for traces, Robin's first trace, Coloratura Cadenza. When the battle begins, the character's action is advanced forward by 25%. This is a good trace because it goes hand in hand with the rest of her kit, which kind of enables her to not need to be speed tuned because it will make her move first without needing to actually be invested in speed wise. So with her you can focus on building her attack and not needing to focus her speed as much. Now her next trace, Impromptu Flourish. While in the Concerto state, all allies crit damage dealt when launching follow-up attacks increases by 10%. This trace is responsible for causing a lot of the misconceptions in terms of Robin, where people believe that she only buffs follow-up units. It's only one trace on her that is specifically meant for follow-up units. A little bit of her kit does specifically mention follow-up units, but majority of it is just buffing allies straight up and giving them all damage and a 27.5% increase to crit damage, as well as adding her own take where she will do physical damage after every ally attacks, while in the Concerto state. Now for Robin's final trace, it's Sequential Passage. When this character's current HP percentage is 50% or lower, addition restores HP equal to 2% of the character's max HP when their talent is triggered. Not really anything crazy, just helps her a little bit more with her survivability. Nothing really insane going on there. Now in terms of her Eidolons, her E1, Land of Smiles. When Robin is in the Concerto state, all allies who use a basic attack, skill, or ultimate will gain 1 stack of ornament. Units with ornament increase their speed by 15%, stacking up to 2 stacks. The multiplier of the additional physical damage dealt by Robin after this ally attacks increases by 72%. Next up is Robin's E2, Afternoon Tea for 2. Additionally increases the talent's crit damage boost effect by 20% and energy regeneration effect by 1 energy. Her E3, Inverted Tuning, Skill level up, and ultimate level up by 2. Her E4, Raindrop Key, when Robin uses her ultimate, dispels crowd control debuffs from all allies and increases the effect res of all allies by 50 while Robin is in the Concerto state. For her E5 is just the level up of the attack by 1 and her talent by 2. Her E6, Moonless Midnight, is while Robin is in the Concerto state, all allies all-type res pen increased by 20%. Further, the crit damage of the first 6 triggered additional damage instances increases by 200%. The trigger count resets after the ultimate is used. Finally, for Robin's signature light cone is Flowing Nightglow. The wearer gains 1 stack of cancellation every time any ally attacks. Each stack of cancellation increases the wearer's energy regeneration rate by 3% up to 5 stacks. When the wearer uses their ultimate, removes cancellation and gains Cadenza. Cadenza increases the wearer's attack by 48%, all allies' damage dealt by 24%, lasting for 1 turn. In terms of our light cone, however, I don't think it's a necessity to pull, as we have a lot of great alternatives. We have a great alternative that's going to be released in 2.2 that's going to be tailor-made to her as a 4-star light cone. We also have a couple of great options in terms of 5-star and 4-star options already in game. If you have Dance Dance Dance, that's a good option for her. If not, then another option is But the Battle Isn't Over, which is a 5-star one. It's Bronia's light cone, but it works really well on her as well. Now, in terms of if I think you should pull for her, it kind of depends on where your account is at in the game. If you already have a lot of the good supports invested into, like Sparkle, Bronya, Tingyun, anyone like that, you might not really need her. So it's up to you if you decide to pull for her and you think she's going to benefit your team. Do I think she's a great unit? Yes, I believe she's a great unit, especially for newer players who might not have a support. So do with that information what you will. She will provide a lot of utility to your team in terms of advanced action forward and crit damage, not just follow-up units, which is only on her Trace 2, meaning that her team synergy isn't locked to just follow-up units, which actually makes Robin a great support for any team. Now, the decision is up to you whether you pull for her or skip for her. This is just for you to help make a more informed decision, and I hope you enjoyed the video.